This video recorded by a student on a cell phone, leading to protests and calls for a CCSD police officer to be fired. It shows a student being taken down by an officer outside Durango High School last month.
Yeah, the officer pushing his knee into the student's back.
And tonight, the head of the CCSD Police Department answering tough questions about the incident. The police chief answers what's now being done.
He faced the community in a meeting being held by the National Action Network and other groups advocating for the rights of Black and brown students.
Kim Passoff was there for it all, joining us live from CCSDPD headquarters in Henderson.
Yeah, so Chief Blackeye declined to take our questions after the meeting, referring us instead to his media relations officer. But during that meeting, the community certainly had a lot to say to him about what happened outside of Durango High School.
And I'm not calling you out because you got handed this whole entire situation. You weren't there, you didn't do this. But nevertheless, does he belong in the street? And does he belong around our children that are Black and brown?
In front of a full house at the meeting in North Las Vegas, CCSD Police Chief Mike Blackeye said he was there to give an update on the controversial incident outside of Durango High School.
I was asked that when I saw the video, what was my opinion of it. I've been a police officer this is my 31st year, so I've seen a lot, and it made me question what's going on there, because I knew there's a beginning. I knew there was something going on causing our officers to be in that location, addressing the situation they were dealing with.
Chief Blackeye revealing in the same location the day before, around the same time, a student took a gun out in front of about 50 other students.
The student made the claim that he was going to shoot up the school at a basketball game. Somebody, I believe, shouted gun, gun, and the crowd dispersed.
He added the day of the incident, a group of female students said a car drove by the school and flashed a gun at them. So extra officers were assigned to the school as it let out.
Any questions, though, that pertain to the investigation, I cannot speak about.
Chief Blackeye would not say if any of the 4 students involved with the incident in the controversial video did have guns, or what will happen to this officer, who Fox 5 confirms remains with the department but is no longer working around students during the investigation. But the community is demanding action.
And I want you to tell the community why he hasn't been terminated or why he can't be terminated at the moment.
Due process. It's also a collective bargaining agreement.
After the meeting, Public Information Officer Lieutenant Brian Zink did take media questions. We asked when the investigation into the incident might be finished.
We do get a lot of questions about what's taking so long, and we do want to conduct a fair and balanced investigation. The last thing you want to see happen is for a decision to be made, and that decision to have to be overturned later on down the road.
And a key to that decision was also revealed by Chief Blackeye tonight. He said that 4 officers were on scene when this incident happened with their body cameras rolling, and that footage is all being reviewed right now. Reporting live tonight in Henderson, Kim Passoff, Fox 5 News, local, Las Vegas.
And Chief Blackeye has said he has arrested his own officers in the past, and termination does not usually come right away. He would not say if Metro was assisting with the investigation.